This delegate has filed an application on the compliance audit against me, so I will prepare a copy.
Will you please leave the chamber then? I believe it is important to leave the chamber.
Well, and on that note, Your Worship.
Pardon me, Councillors, if you want to speak to that, do you want to speak to that? I would ask that under normal rules of procedure, it's not, maybe not mandatory, but I believe if someone is speaking and someone has a conflict, that it's only appropriate to leave the premises. I think I do it all the time, and I suggest that all councillors should abide by that instead of staying behind. Ms. Butler.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Stebby, you want to say something else, or you want to keep going? Councillor Stebby? Want to keep going? Ms. Butler, thank you.
Thanks. One more time. So, Your Worship, councillors, members of the audience, my name is Marina Butler, and I am the president of Erie Personnel Corporation. We are one of Niagara's foremost leading employment and human resource firm. When times are good and companies are looking to increase their workforce, I am one of the first to know. When times are slow and companies are looking to scale back, I am one of the first to know. I have my finger on the pulse of the Fort Erie economy. It's my job. You may not know this, but over 20 years ago, I was part of a group of professionals that spearheaded the idea of forming an economic development corporation with the express purpose of gathering momentum for an aggressive development plan that would flourish into amazing opportunities for the citizens of Greater Fort Erie. The idea was to invite in companies that would afford career and high-level prospects of employment. Well, we did just that. The Economic Development Corporation was formed and has evolved throughout the years. However, there was no greater advancement made than those that were attained by the current Economic Development and Tourism Corporation team. This town has a strong team. Led by Jim Tiber, this team has accomplished quite a bit. I don't believe I should have to tell you this, but it does not seem as though you fully understand it. Not only has the EDTC been very successful in attracting high-profile companies to Fort Erie, they have brought in much-needed manufacturing and service industry jobs that appeal to all spectrums in the employment field. They have solidified relationships and through its creative and progressive efforts have even helped save many jobs. To date, they have successfully worked with Glenn Stansfield and his team of employees to form the New Fleet Canada, resulting in 115 jobs saved. Working with Scott Barost and his team to ensure 2 expansions at Rich Products, 110 new jobs created. A major expansion for Eurocopter was secured. Working with the team from North Dakota when they were indecisive of a location and were deciding between 3 townships, Jim and his team pulled out all the stops to convince DMI Industries to choose Fort Erie. That resulted in 230 jobs that were created and attracted. Attar Metals proves to provide up to 60 jobs. Peninsula Alloy, 52 jobs created. Attraction of Truck King and Bruce R. Smith Trucking, which will create over 20 driving positions. Infocision, 80 jobs created, with a potential growth of over 100. Expansions at Aerosafe and at Thermopan, raising over $18 million and securing over 328 direct jobs and 700 spin-off by saving the Fort Erie racetrack. And now, in the preliminary stages of saving many more jobs at Paramedics, and in the process of attracting new employers as well. That's what they do 24/7. I find it kind of ridiculous that I need to stand here tonight and ask for you to save the team that attracts and saves the jobs. The list I just recited is merely some of the highlights. It is not even close to a full resume of the success that they have achieved over the past decade. And we'll never know all of it. We'll probably never even know the half of it, because much of what they do is done in confidence. It has to be. Economic development in and of itself is a process where much of the battles are fought behind the scenes, and where the creative engineering used to pull projects together has to be done behind closed doors. Many of the successes to date of the EDTC simply could not have been facilitated if they were a department at Town Hall. The Municipal Act, governing the actions of a municipality and its council, would have ensured that many of these projects would have never got off the ground. I read Councillor Lubert's motion. It is straightforward, too straightforward. There is no background information contained in it. Usually, a resolution of this significance contains about a dozen whereas clauses outlining the necessity to make a proposed change. His motion has none. Out of nowhere, and with nothing to back it up, except I am assuming his personal opinion of the EDTC, or maybe more accurately, he is just carrying forward the opinions of those he surrounds himself with. I await Councillor Lubert's answers to the following questions.
Ms. Butler, just
I understand.
please.
Where has the EDTC failed in their mandate? Do you profess to know more about economic development than the EDTC and all of the delegates this evening who support them? And how many times have you stepped foot into the EDTC offices to ask a single question? Do you honestly believe they are hiding something? And I ask that question for a very specific reason. Council approves their budget every year and has 2 of you on the board. How could they be hiding anything? I suggest you turn to your right, though he's not here right now, and ask your colleague, Councillor Hill, what he is trying to keep from you. He is one of the 2 town reps on the EDTC board. He attends all the meetings, has access to all the documents.
Ms. Butler,
Councillor Bruce?
speak about individual councillors, please.
Okay, fine, I'll move on. If this idea is totally from yourself and other members of the council, where is your business plan and the case study to show that the Economic Development Office would function better at Town Hall than it does as an arm's-length corporation? Where is your list of delegates from the business and development community speaking to support your cause, saying that they would prefer doing it your way? Who have you actually consulted in determining that this is the best way to go? Who do you get your advice from? Have you spoken to any of the economic development officers at municipalities where they are a department at Town Hall? Because if you did, they probably would have told you that the setup Port Erie enjoys is something they could only dream of. It would greatly enhance their ability to be proactive in their jobs and not be hamstrung by red tape and politics. Oh gosh, I have to skip some things here. So, Councillor Hill, I believe that if his hand goes up tonight, it will be a slap in the face to every company of the EDTC that they are working with currently to attract them here to save the jobs already at risk. As one of the 2 council reps on the EDTC board, it is your responsibility to be a champion of the board, not a destructive force from within. Every week, there's a profession of business acumen, and by voting in favor of abolishing the EDTC in its present form would clearly show that there is no business acumen. You all profess during your campaigns to save taxpayers money, to spend responsibly, to scrutinize every penny. I'm not going to debate the merits of the $20,000 second opinion on the legalities of the Bay Beach deal, or the hundreds of thousands of dollars on the lighthouse, or the skateboard park, or any other project that has been controversial. Whether you agreed or disagreed with those things, there is one thing they all have in common. You got something to show for your money. You could point to something and say, yep, there it is. If this motion passes, there will be a lot of money expended to wind down the corporation, and what will you have to show for it? Nothing. There seems to be no rhyme or reason that I can see for this completely out of the blue and irrational decision except to clash with personalities. There have been councillors, past and present, who dislike Mr. Tiver. I am afraid that the opinions of past councillors may be influencing the mindset of current councillors. How can I expect to believe that a councillor who has been on the job for 10 months feels he has the grasp necessary to propose a change that would set the economic development function of this town back 20 years? Councillor Luberts, you said yourself at a previous council meeting that you wondered whether the jobs at the racetrack were even worth saving. The decisions you make and even the words that you say have serious implications on this community's ability to continue attracting investment. We seem to be going backwards. And please don't use the tired line, I am for development, just not in this form or being done this way. You're either for it or you're not. If you're for it, let the experts continue doing their job and try to stay out of their way as much as possible. Summarily, the EDTC has worked closely with business in order to provide steady employment and resources. They've attracted new and emerging industries, saved struggling businesses, facilitated expansions, worked with all sectors of government for funding critical projects. If I were to conduct an appraisal of how well the EDTC has performed, it would have to be close to stellar, especially under difficult economic challenges. I'd like to know how your report card of them is different than mine. Gentlemen, integrity matters. The decisions you make during your term on council have to be weighed on a business level and not on the basis of personalities. Don't make business personal.